Hey guys, this video is going to be all about Ascension Materials. When you finish Tide, you get to choose between 3 packs of Ascension Materials, and I had a comment which I put up, so thank you very much for the comment, asking me which material should you choose. So I had it wrong. I waited all week to do this because I completely forgot how it works. So the first time you clear it, you get to choose materials. So I was a bit wrong there, my bad. Anyway, so map drops, you can passively get some stuff. You can get these 3 Ascension Materials here. You can see a Primitive Spirits, the Mother Tree Spirit, and Queen Spirit. These are the 3 main Ascension Materials. We're going to go over them. As you can see, it turns the Wisdom set to the Soulbound Arcana, the Insight set to the Infernal Roar for the Queen Spirit. For the Primitive Spirit, you can turn Night Terror into Ageless Wrath or Asclepius into Invigoration. And for Mother Tree Spirit, you can turn Calamity into Warlord and Life Force into Immortal Warrior. So the green one, Mother Tree Spirit, is of course the Gear Raid 1 set. It's a weapon and armor set pieces, whereas the blue and the red ones are for Gear Raid 2, respectively for blue, and for red it is Gear Raid 3. These are of course accessory sets. The first time you clear any of the difficulties, normal, hard, and nightmare. So I wonder if it's worth us going back and doing elite when that gets added, just so we can get the first clearance rewards. That would be interesting. But anyway, we get to choose between these 3. My personal recommendation is that you choose the red one, Queen Spirit. Regardless of where you are in the game, I would personally suggest stacking up on Queen Spirit. That is because at the moment, the best sets, unequivocally for DPS, tend to be either Soulbound Arcana or Infernal Roar for most endgame competitive content. Of course, the Warlord set is the best set for the DPS, whereas the gain from Calamity to Warlord is only 30 attack speed. 30 attack speed, while nice, does not compare to the difference you'll get moving from Wisdom or Insight to Soulbound Arcana or Infernal Roar. So I strongly suggest going for the Queen Spirit. I haven't mentioned it yet, so I'll show you exactly what Ascension is if you're unsure at the moment. So as you can see, these are all Gear Raid 3 sets, the Infernal Roar or Soulbound Arcana. But let's say you get a nice piece of gear and it's Insight or Wisdom and you wish it was one of these sets instead. Well, you can actually ascend them only when they are level 16. So you can see this is plus 12 and then I can only choose to enhance it. However, a plus 16 piece of Insight, you can ascend to turn it into Infernal Roar. And as you can see there, these are the Ascension Materials. There are also Eternal Bullions, which we'll get into in a minute. But from the Queen Spirit resource, you can see it costs 200 to ascend a single piece of gear. 200 is quite a lot. The main way you get them is, of course, from Void Rift. You get quite a few from the first time completion, 200, which is really nice. And you do get some from weekly completions. Aside from that, you can get these resources from Guild Boss at random and from Gear Raids at random, but of course, only in the highest stages. Really, the main thing I want to say is, if you ever get a choice to choose between the 3 materials, choose Queen Spirit. It is the better one in my opinion. Primitive Spirit, sure, you can upgrade into the Invigoration set, so it's not like it's wasteful. Invigoration is a really, really nice set, and Ageless Wrath can be pretty good in certain characters as well, but by and large, the Soulbound Arcana and Infernal Roar are going to be the best sets. So that's the main thing to say. So the next thing to cover is the actual Ascension process itself. So it's 200 of the Spirit resource for the given set to upgrade it. But if you want to upgrade an ancient gear piece, it is 200 plus. Now it's including 5 Eternal Bullions. As you can see, the source for an Eternal Bullion is Gear Raid 1, 2, or 3. The drop rate is really low. We'll go over the drop rates in just a second. So what I want to say is, when knowing what gear to upgrade, really you should be very patient with this. You shouldn't rush anything. You should only upgrade gear worth upgrading. So this piece here, it's actually a pretty nice piece. But at the moment, I don't have a hero that I am desperately aiming to put an attack speed main on. There are some that it is decent on, but I'm actually, when I get the rest of the resources, I'm going to push this piece up at the moment is my plan. I don't have many insane like gold rolls or anything like that, so for me this is actually a really nice piece. And you can see that right now it has 66% crit damage, but when you upgrade it, it goes to 72%. So the substats won't change, but you do get a 10% bonus on your main stat. That's how it worked out. If you look at the weapons as well, it's 10% bonus. Save it only for your best pieces. For example, this piece, although it has, you know, some of the ideal subs, there's only 1 purple roll, so personally I would wait. It's not like we're getting showered in these resources. I would wait for a piece more akin to this, where you've got a couple purple rolls on the most important things. That's my personal decision. It's up to you, of course, as an individual, but I would definitely be using it almost exclusively on DPS gear sets that are crit damage or attack bonus main stats and with ideal substats. So most of the time you're going to be aiming to upgrade ancient pieces, really. It's kind of rare that you actually do it on these pieces. It would be nice if they reduced the spirit cost, because it's very rare that it's worth doing it, because you will get eternal bullions, although slowly, at a reasonable-ish pace, especially compared to the spirits, which are also quite slow to attain. So my suggestion is mainly save it for your best ancients to upgrade, and mainly, if possible, focus on the Queen Spirit to upgrade into the Infernal Roar set and into the Soulbound Arcana set. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about in this video, telling you what the resources are, which things to upgrade, and if you do get to choose what to upgrade. But the last thing I want to cover is there is a little bit of stats we can look at. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Dan Harmon at the moment, because he is significantly more patient than I am. And he's filled in a nice spreadsheet. He's got a really good document. I'll link it in the description below and pin it in a comment. But do check it out if you're interested in seeing the drop rate distribution and all kinds of content. Dan Harmon's been a real beast in filling this in consistently. And he does track the Ascension Material drop rate, and he does track the Eternal Bullion drop rate. So as you can see from the table I'm going to put up now, you can see he has really great breakdowns for Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3. And he's broken them down by mainly stages 19 to 21 on the ones that he is farming, which does include Gear Raid 3 up to 21. And in my opinion, that's going to be the biggest one to farm. I would recommend farming Gear Raid 3 for most of your gear if possible, if you can do 19 to 21. Obviously, this is, Ascension Materials, so this is more of an end game discussion. But yeah, you can see from his breakdown that the Eternal Bullion only has, it ranges between 0.1 to 0.7% drop rate. Obviously, this data is still being accumulated. He's still doing runs, and he's still updating this, I believe. So we'll see over time how it shakes out, and hopefully the developers take notice of his stats as well and make some adjustments. But you can see, you can probably average around 1 Eternal Bullion every 200 runs, which is obscene. That means you can upgrade like 1 ancient myth piece of gear. You can ascend it every 1,000 runs or something by that metric. I haven't tracked it myself, so I won't add my own speculation. But yeah, it's interesting to see. If you want to get an idea for the statistics, then do check out Dan Hellman's spreadsheet, which I'll link below. But yeah, that's all I really want to cover. You can see the rough idea of the drop rates. You can understand the mechanics of how it works. So hopefully they might change it to make it a bit easier to get hold of those things. But for the moment, that is really all there is to say regarding the Eternal Bullion and the Ascension Materials. If there's any other tidbits of info that you have, then do share below, as it might help other people, and it might help us understand it as a collective a bit better. As you can see, it does drop in Guild Boss, but it drops in blocks of 3. So this is really not really a lot to write about, right? So yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to cover this video. That's all I have to say. I just wanted to answer Hail Carnage's question, as I think it's quite a cool topic and one that I haven't covered myself at all yet. So yeah, thanks Hail Carnage for the question, and have a great day everyone. Take care and bye-bye.